Okay. So, mic check seems to work. Why isn't it sharing the screen? Just give me a second. There we go. Okay, so let's get rid of that. And this one here. Right. So, last time I turned this animation here, this SVG, this animated SVG, into a GLTF file using Cinema4D. Let's do a quick recap here. That's basically that animation here, and with all the layers and all the stuff. So we can do that. And this time I'm going to rebuild the exact animation in AfterEffects. So I have the SVG for the web, the 3D file for any 3D related stuff, and the AfterEffects file for anything flat animated purpose. Now, let's make sure that it doesn't bounce on the mic, the cable. So I'm not going to get into really deep how the SVG animation works. I spent, I think, 25 minutes in the last video about the GLTF builds stuff, going through the whole logic and process over there. So if you're interested in that, just go back and take a look at that animation. But it's this file here, just real quick. It basically scales each element to the center point by defining an animation that starts at 90%, goes down to 20%, and to 90% goes off to 100%, goes down to 70%, and then back to 90%, and then it starts over and over again. And each element has a different duration and starts at a different time, and that gives that whole animation more dynamic in there. So that's first. I think I'm gonna go over the current state of the website real quick, so anyone who's watching one of these videos the first time gets at least some information about the project. So it's a native streamable super token, streamable via superfluid. That means it can transfer on a per second basis. You only do one transaction on the blockchain that opens up the stream, and then it slowly depletes the one account and it goes into the other account, and you only need one more transaction later on to stop it, or you can alter the flow rate to increase the amount that gets transferred over time or not. So instead of this one-stop transactions like everyone's used to, you can do these continuously flows of assets in there. It's a DeFi experiment. The token has no real life use case, though everyone is welcome to build something on top of it. And the project launched exactly 2 years ago on the XI chain, and the past month I've been working on getting it, spreading it to different chains. The total token supply is 1, which means everyone could ever just own a fraction of the token, hence the name. And so far, the token has been prepared to go to Polygon, Arbitrum, Avalanche, Optimism, and BNBChain, with some preparations also for Celo and Ethereum. Although there are some things that aren't yet fully in the stage of doing the real deployment there. The token can be transferred via the connext routers. So if you use jumper.exchange or LeFi, you can use their interface to do cross-chain swaps of the token. So if you want to exchange USDC on Arbitrum for a fraction on GnosisChain, then that will redirect you to Jumper, and it should fill it out. Yes. And then you just why is it not? Okay, need to fix that. But if you don't want to buy anything, you can also use the streaming faucet, which means if you send a zero transaction, zero of the native coin to that address here, and make sure that the gas limit is high enough, that opens up a reverse stream into your account with the last decimal point per second into your account. And by owning a fraction, you can then also start participating in the snapshot DAO, for example. And here are some of the projects that are already utilizing the token in some way. There's the streaming faucet. Didi built the first one, but it's now also deployed on all the other chains. The contracts recently got verified. The code of it got verified on the block explorers, which is really nice. There are the Minerva streaming farms for giving additional incentive to lock liquidity in selected DEX pools. And that's something I'm going to work on once the project starts. It's the fraction timestamp, which is basically a smart contract which balance always represents the current Unix timestamp by just opening up a superfluid stream of fraction with the last decimal point, seeing it as 1 second, counts up by 1. So the fraction timestamp is the equivalent to the Unix timestamp, which someone in maybe might be to use it in some way. Here you can see the relevant transactions by the project for full transparency. So how what happened since the initial mint by providing liquidity on HoneySwap and then bridging it over and then providing it to the different DEXs. The size of the circles actually represents the amount that has been moved in there. So 100%. Then here the first transaction was providing liquidity on HoneySwap by adding half of the token in there, and so on and so on and so on. So there's the transparency part. Here's a short shout out of the partners who helped me building all that stuff, and the token got listed in Minerva wallet, on HoneySwap, Symmetric, recently also on Balancer. LeFi's Jumper, the Superfluid dashboard, Peanut protocol, and there's also a CoinGecko listing available. What? Okay, I need to fix that. Oh yeah, because I do allocate the current price of ETH. So I think there's something wrong with the CoinGecko API right now. Nope. Okay, it should be fine. So if I refresh, it's good. Okay, so just the CoinGecko, I need to implement some caching there. Sorry. And here's the roadmap. What's still on the list to get done, and pretty straightforward. And also the DAO. That you can participate in once you have a fraction of the token. And I also wrote the white paper already, which is kind of lengthy. Also a good question, why do all that stuff? which is also in there. And next thing I'm going to do is build the network specific subpages so that you can see what's actually going on with the token on, for example, GnosisChain, but that's in the building stage. Right, so that's the current status quo. And now I'm going to start rebuilding this animation here in After Effects. So we're going to launch After Effects. And no, we're also going to need the Illustrator, and we are also going to need that file here. So we are going to take a look here. So we can reopen it because we do need to prepare a few things. All right, so first we're going to start a new project in here, and let's save that right away. Fraction. Okay, so let's open that up. All right, so that's the static version of the logo in here, and for building it, I only need, let's see here, the layers. I can disable everything else. I only need the black part, because I'm gonna clone each element then later on and give them a different color and transparency to have one single source in there. So I'm gonna delete all of that, and we're going to save that. After Effects here. Like only. Okay, let's save that as an Illustrator file and save that. Okay. All right. That's basically what I need from the Illustrator, but I think first it might make sense to let's take a look. So we are going to import that file, Fraction Effects material. Okay, then let's reduce that to let's see, does it? Oh no, it doesn't. Okay, don't mind. Let's get rid of that. There are some parts that I also never built before, so it's going to be a little bit of learning by doing. So we are going to import that one and its footage, and let's say it's just one in here. And then we'll make a new composition. Since we already know that it's going to be squared, and let's make it bigger, because scaling down is always easier than scaling up. So let's give that 84, and let's go with nice frame rate of 60 frames per second. Okay, and the length we can basically leave however we want, and let's leave it at 30 seconds. We can reduce that. And that is, let's also give that a name, and that is the FractionToken main. All right, so now we're going to also change the background color here, just so that it's easier to work with. Then we're going to place the file here in the center. And now there's the first thing we will encounter. So if you import an Illustrator file, a vector, even though it's a vector graphic, if you scale it up, you can see it's super blurry. And what you can do about that is you can, let's go to 100%. So what we can do about it is we go here, click right click, and of course mine here is German, but you can create forms from the vectors itself that puts in here a new layer, and that one has the that one has here some content, and those are all the groups we're going to need in there. In this case, it's exactly 30 of these. And it also disables the Illustrator file we dragged in there before, and we don't need that one anymore. We can delete that in here. And this one here now is, if we scale it, it is actual vectors that we can scale up here. So we are going to do exactly that. Let's scale it up to, you know what, actually let's scale it up to 1000, because then it's easier to do the calculations later on. Smart. And just increase that here by 2, 4. $60. That's pretty nice. And one of the benefits here is since the center, the position is already now in the center of the file, that's exactly also the part where we want to have our scaling then later on. The not so fortunate part is that all the contents are now in just one layer, and we do need to separate them. There might be a option to automate everything in there, but I don't know how to do that, so I'm going to do that manually. That's going to take a little bit of time, which is probably a little bit boring, so I'm going to also start some music in the background. So, and to easier keep track of, and also to easier keep track of which animation length, which each element gets, and to really replicate the SVG animation, I'm going to leave up this part here in the background. So I can still then take a look at the defined delay, the duration stuff, and everything else. So first thing is, let's get these this one element, all these elements into single layer scene here. So we are going to copy that one, and then let's see which one. So this is the first one, and I call that that was, I think they have. Let's give me a second. That's not the one. That's the fracture part. Is full. I call that full main. So let's take a look if I can ungroup that. No, still, let's keep the group. But can I rename that? Yeah. So I'm gonna go through that whole layer here and name each one of these exactly like I wanted. Then I duplicate all the 30 layers and so that they have the exact same naming pattern here, because each one of these elements got a specific extra name from me, so I can get to them, give them different durations. This is going to be a little bit boring, so if you're watching a recording of that, you might want to skip that because it's not really necessary. So I'm going to activate this one here, and if I recall correctly, oh, you know what? I'm not going to use that. I'm going to use the Cinema4D because that's exactly what I did last time. So I'm just yeah, let's do that. Okay, that's the main. We already have that one, and now we are going to start with the F's. So first one, that's this one here, and that's F. Oops. One. Then oops. So okay, that's F2. What's that? No. That is F3. And this is F4. This is F5. This one here is not. This is F12. And I guess this one here is probably F11. Yep. Makes sense. Let's drag that one down here. Then this one here is F6. This one here, that's this one, that's F7. Because if you select something here, this outline gets orange, and also here you can see which one you selected. So we have this one here. Then we're going to take a look at this one. Oops. Okay, that is F8. Yep. 8. Then this here is probably F9, and this one here is F10. 9, F10. Then we're going to drag this one down, and we can go to the next stuff in here. Okay. J parts. So this one here is J1. J2. And this one is J3. J4. J5. I think those are all pretty straightforward. J6. J6 and J7. So them, which is kind of nice. Then we have here the T's, which are very small, and this here is okay. So here where it's getting a little bit tricky, because there we have those, and this, that's S7. This one here. Okay. This S2. S8. Okay. This one here, that's S1. Okay, so then we have this vertical line here, which is S6. Okay. And we have here, okay, what? This small corner here. So we have 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8. Interesting. Where are the T's? Okay, so that's T4. That is T2. This small one here is T1. That's T3. And let's take a wild guess. Let's say that. So, okay. Right, so now we named all of them. And let's copy that one. Let's say that's the full main. And get rid of all the other stuff here. So that's the only one we actually need here. And then the second one here. Just before we do everything, let's double check here if removing them, except one, deleting that, if that actually works as we want to. So if we are scaling it down, it moves in here and it goes back up. And that's exactly what we want to do. Okay, so let's put that back to 1000%. Okay. Okay, and that is so that is on, then it's going to be F2, it's F3, F4. Like I said, there's probably some way to automate everything, but you can't know everything. So 7, 8, 9. Why is it on each song 2 times in a row? Interesting. Oh, we don't even have that many. It's just 12. So this one here is going to be then J1. J1. That's J2. J3. J4. J5. J6. J7. J8. 9. Again, we don't even have that many, it's just 7, so the next one is T1. Sorry, T2, T3, T4, and T5. That's all we have, yeah. And the rest ones are S's, but we just call that as static ones because they don't move and we just leave them in one group. So we're going to drag this one here down, and we also get, yeah, let's activate this one here, and for the static ones, oh no, fuck, of course, fucking hell, I cloned the wrong one, shit, let's get rid of that, dum, and start again, of course that happened. It's F1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, J1, J2, J3, J4, J5, J6, yeah, J6 and J7. Then we have T1, T2, T3, T4, T5, and that is S static ones. Let's go this here, delete that stuff, and then we delete everything out here except the S ones. Let's reactivate those. Oh yeah. So okay, so now we activated those two. Great, so we have the static ones. Let's give them a, remove their color there because they need. Okay, then we say that's the F1, and we don't need anyone else in there except the F1. Then F2. Also, of course, I could have speeded it up by doing some groups where a bunch of stuff already got deleted, but why not? So this is F2, and this here is F1. Then we have here F3. Delete that stuff, get rid of that stuff, we activate it, close it, go to F4, go here, F4, delete the first ones, and then we delete the last ones. And like I said, super boring, super ineffective, but we're doing it step by step, right? So F5, close it, get rid of that. That's our number 5. Then we have here F6, delete the first ones, delete the last ones, activate F6, F6. Okay, then we have here F7, activate this here, delete it, mark it, delete it, close it. The same for number 8. We activate the layer, activate the element number 8, then this one here, 9, number 9, mark everything. Mark this one here, get rid of that, and we're almost halfway through. 10. Let's get this here and this here. Okay. 11. Here. Here. So, and we now have the big chunks. So basically the naming scheme is S is for static. They don't actually animate. The F ones are the fractions, the big ones, the big fractions. Then J are the intermediate sizes one, and the T ones are the tiny ones. So J1. Okay, activate that. Let's deactivate these ones here real quick, and also find the static ones, so we are sure that we are actually enabling the correct ones. So J2, J2, let's get rid of that. So, yeah, that's nicer. Okay, that's J3. Gonna get rid of that. Let me select the other ones, get rid of that, activate it, close it, go up, get here, J4, jump, bam, bam, get rid of that, activate it, and J5, and here, activate it, close it, go to 6, activate it, J6, great. Select this, and then one more, and we have the medium size ones. Okay. Bam. Let's go with that. Let's give these different color. Then we have here the T ones. This one here. Okay. T3. More 44. That activate it, close it. Right, so now we can activate that. And let's give that maybe something different. That's more distributed. Well, okay, so now we have here. We're gonna leave those down here, and we call them backups. Just in case we do need to align anything. at some later point. Okay. And now, so we can lock this one here and this one here as well, so we don't ever select them again. And now we get into the animation part. So we select all of them, and what we want to do now is replicate exactly the, let's close. Okay, let's double check if everything is activated. That looks good. Let me just close this one here. Let's close it because we don't need that anymore. Bam, bam. So, and what we do need now is transform all the stuff. And as you can see, the normal animation here is at 0%, it starts at 90%, then it scales up to 100, then it scales down to 70%, and then back to 90, and then it should start over again. So what we're going to do now, we set everything to 900 in here, so it's a little bit squeezed. Then we set a keyframe, and since we select all of these layers, that keyframe gets applied to every layer, and so we don't have to do it manually for all of them. And I'm just going to use now just 10 seconds as a reference, but later on we're going to squeeze and scale all of them individually anyways, but that's easier than to calculate. So at 2 seconds in that case, we are going down, we're going up to 100, to 1000. So we're back to normal in this case. And just by simply changing it, it adds a new keyframe in there. Then at 60%, which in this case would be 6 seconds, we are going to scale down to 70%. It's a bit bigger. Move that out here. So we are going to go down here to 70%. And then at 10 seconds, we are going back to 90. Okay, so and now all of them move in and out and in and out, and that's basically it. So right now, that's the first thing. Next thing we have to do is, because if we run that animation, then it moves in there very slowly, and then it goes back, and then it stops. And we want to have that on an infinite loop, because we also have here the animation iteration infinite. And in After Effects, you can do that by holding Control, or for Mac it's Control, on PC it's Alt, and then click on the stopwatch here. Let's go back to normal and click here, and that opens up here the expression. So, and it puts in transform scale, because that's the one element we're having in here, but we don't need that anymore. But what we want to loop all of that, and you can do that by typing in here loop out, and cycle, and 0 for infinite loops. And let's cut it down. And I'm not sure, does this apply now to all of them or just the one? Let's figure it out. Hopefully that would be nice. Let's see the first one. So right now we're going to see if just one loops infinitely, we have to do it for each manually. Okay, it just does for one. That's very small, tiny dude here. So no worries, we just save that in here, and we are going to apply that to all of them. So we go here to the F1, go to transformation, go back, we hold Alt, click on this tiny fella here, that opens it up, and then we just paste the expression that we want in here, and then we close it. Okay, you know what, actually we can leave that up here. Then we just close this one. Then we close this one here. Then we hit. So. What? Okay, so I don't need to adjust. It's enough if I just go through all of them in here. That's a little bit unfortunate that it doesn't go for all of them, but whatever. It's not like we didn't do some unnecessary clicking before already too. So that's in there. Okay. Click here, transform. Okay. I mean, the whole process could be also a little bit more effective because I could already, since I'm in that layer, already adjust the length in there. But since I'm going to do everything step by step, and I'm in no hurry, it's not yet 5 o'clock in the morning, so okay, let's get that in there. Okay. That's in. So, oh yeah, you know what? I guess it's probably not a bad idea to actually really do a save at that point before we get started. Okay, so now they're in. We're going to save that. And now if we run the animation, it starts getting to 100%. Then it gets down here and then it loops again. So what we can see right now here, that's something I just noticed, is that the animation itself is pretty yeah, it's linear. It really, you can see it goes up there, and then it, especially here, you can see it's not that nicely. And in the SVG animation, I used a ease in out. So instead of a linear, that the values change on a linear scale, they're starting slow, then they accelerate to the next point, and then they get slower again. And since we have all of them here open, I think so. For example, if I take the F1 here and can yeah, so as you can see, it's very strict in here, and if we ease those, so I'm going to select these and click here, and that's ease in, and now you can see it's way smoother in here. And the important part is just that the top and the end is the same in here. So, and since I didn't do that on the first one, anyways, we have to do that also manually for each and every one, but that's not a problem because we're going to do these two things now, based on because we do have to scale it anyway, and so once I select everything, I can also do the different durations here as well. So as we can see now, the animation duration for F1 is 6.1 seconds. So we set the marker here to 6.1, that we have something for reference. Put it in here, and then we just scale everything down here to that. Okay. Let's see if I reduce it back to linear. Let me just check something real quick. They don't change, right? So yeah, no, that's okay. They do scale the length of the tangents as well. Yeah, they do. Okay, so that's the first one, to 6.1 seconds. 6.1. Let's be precise here. Okay. And let's disable all of them again. Static one. So next one is F2. Again, we need to select all of them, then we make the easings in here, and F2 goes to 7.1 seconds. So we click the marker in here, we can see here the exact time. So we are going to drag that together and make sure it's exactly 7.1. Okay. Okay. And then we can shut this down. Then we open up F3. Click here on the scale. Again, it's linear. Make it easings. And F3 is 5.1 seconds. So set the marker, drag it together, zoom in a little bit. And yeah, that was pretty on point anyways already. Okay, then we can close this one here. Then we set F4. And F4, grab this one in here, mark all of them, whoops, mark them, and F4 is 9.4 seconds, so 9.4, and then we drag it down. I wonder why it's not snapping, because that should be usually the case. Maybe it's just, it's not for scaling. I'm just gonna now on loop. I'm bored about that. So next one is F5, which is to 6.3 seconds. So these ones in here, we make them smooth. Then 6.3. Yep, that's it. Scale it down to 6.3. Then we zoom in a little bit. Make sure it's at 6.3. Then go back in here and move on to number 6. And 6 is now let's make it smooth. 6 is to 8.8 seconds. There we go. Drag that together. Zoom in a little bit. Make sure it's exactly what I wanted to. And we can move on to number 7. So 7 is now also smooth again, and 7.7. Set the marker again, and we scale it down. And okay, that's it. Then we have number 8. Take it, select everything. So it's a very repetitive stuff because actually the same stuff happens over and over again. F8 is 9.2. Okay, so we scale that one down again. Zoom in. So pretty spot on. Okay. F9 is 6.9. Is it actually 6.9? I don't think so. Shit. What if I have here? If I set it to 100 frames. Because I think these here 6.1 seconds means what I see back here, the last ones are the frames and it's not the portion of the section itself. So, come on. So for example, for f.9, if I have 6.9, then I should go to, so we have f9, and that's 6.9, which is now 6.90. Okay. Okay. It doesn't matter because that's that I set here the frame rate to 100. It doesn't really matter because I do use that composition then later on as an include for the others, and in the final one you can just then align it to the frame rate that you actually prefer to, and then you would do the recalculation in the background anyways. But I guess we now have to readjust those here. So for F8 we had, and back to business. See, good that we took a look right at the beginning, because otherwise I would have gone through and then I would have to take care of all of them again. So F1 is 6.1, and that means it should be 6.10 here, and as you can see we are missing a little bit here. Since what we actually want to do, we want to replicate the SVG animation as closely as possible. And even though probably nobody would have noticed that there's some difference, it's also about accuracy to some extent. And if you don't take a look for such details, then later on you're going to have some other, it's going to be a challenge on maybe other things down the road. So we have 7.10 now here. Okay, let's stand that, we're good. Then F3. Okay, let's select all of them. 3 is 5.1 in this case, which means the timestamp should be 5.10 here, and we also make that here longer. Okay, then we have 5.4, which here it is. F4 is 9.4. That's interesting. F4 should be 9.4. See, double checking is always a good idea, because I think we missed one here. Okay. Let's get that going here. Then F5. Put it up, go to scaling. Sheesh, dude, I forgot like half of it. 6.3. 6. Okay. Okay. Then to F6. We select the stuff, and F6 goes to 8.8 seconds, which is here. Scale it up. Make sure, yeah, it's good. Then we can go to F7, and F7 should be 7.7 seconds. 7.7. Okay, drag everything, scale it, look closer, position it exactly what we wanted to. Go back and close this one here and go to F8. F8 goes to 9.2, which is here. We select it, drag it, make sure it's working. Okay, then F9 goes to 6.9, 6. Okay, so we open this up. Scaling in here, select it, the easing and drag it down to the details, align it correctly, go back, and we can close that one. Then we have F10, scaling, we select everything, it's now smooth. F10 is 8.9 seconds, so we have here 8.9 almost, but let's get in here, 9, and then let's go here, back, and then 11 here, select all of them, make it easing. 11 is 9.9 seconds. That's already very close to the 10-second we had anyways. Okay. And then we have F12. Get in here, select that, smoother, and F12 is 12.9 seconds. Okay. Okay. Good. So now we can take a look. Let's activate all of them and let's see what happens if we hit the play. So they are moving now a lot smoother already. So we can put this one here for comparison. And yeah, that's already pretty, that's already very close. And as you can see, we already passed our last keyframe and it's still animating, which is nice. Okay, good. So I think now it's a good time to save that stuff and move on with the others, because there are just a few left. Okay, so J1, bam, we get wood. I really should. Oops. Okay. Let's make that smooth, and J1 is at 10.1 seconds, so we are going to get closer in 10.1 and we drag that here, go back, and we can close that, and then the next one is J2. We select all of them, smooth. J2 is 9.1 seconds. So probably here. Okay. And we scale it down. Okay. Then J3 is 18.1 seconds. Come on. Okay. Drag that out. Sure. Okay. Good. A1, then J4. 4. It's there. Expand that out. On point. That's how I like it. J5. Also goes smooth now, and it's 14.3. In case you're wondering, these the times I picked here are absolutely random. There's no logic about it. The main purpose is that they are random and they have a different duration, so it gets more dynamically, and you're less likely to spot a pattern in there. That's the main reason there. So then J6 is 11.8. Okay. And the last one of the J's. Okay, that's 10.7. Okay. Good. And now we just have to do the tiny ones. So if we move out there, it still continues to work in there. If we reactivate the last ones, it all moves out there, right? That's how we want it. Now, T1 is in there for 11.1. Okay. Closer, right? Now we go to T2. That's 15.1. B. Let's cut it down, and finish line T3. Squeeze in. T3 is 14.1. Okay. Down. Okay. Oops. Okay. So that's 13.4. Okay. And the last one is, and that's 12.3. And we're good. Okay, so now we have built basically the animation part that we rebuilt the animation based on these values here, but only the black part at the beginning. So that's the, I'm going to save that. And what comes next is, so we are going to rename that a little bit. So, FractionToken main, and let's expand that like massively to 30 minutes. So we have, let's get back here and let's take this and make sure that the whole, that we have like a lot of time to let it loop through. Okay, so that's the first part. Now we say, and that's the fraction multi-chain logo. Zoom, put this one up here, and can get rid of all these. So, and now I have two compositions in here, and in that one I'm going to place the other one back in here. So I'll place that one in here, and that means that whole animation is now is laying in there, and that's the main logo. And now I'm going to duplicate that, and I'll do these colored sublayers that I have in here. And for that, I can grab these fill colors here. So I'm going to start with the GnosisChain. So it's going to be GnosisChain. Okay, and if we go back to this stuff here, we can see that the GnosisChain is to the bottom and to the right. So I am going to move that okay, and now I'm gonna apply a new color overlay. Then I'll give that color, and I want to reduce that to 25%. So you're probably not going to, can't be the correct color for the GnosisChain. That's more like it. So, and just to be sure, we make here now the background black. Okay. Okay. And now I'm going to copy this a few times as well. That one in here. So, oops. That's going to be Polygon. That's going to be Optimism. Okay. Color there. Say that's Polygon. In here, just want to 25%. Okay. Then Optimism. This one in here, and then we set that right over. All of them. Okay. So Optimism is red, but it's a different one because I use the official colors. 204. It's great. Then Arbitrum. Okay. Then Avalanche. Okay. BNBChain. Celo. Celo and Ethereum. I really need to make a playlist for the next time because this is annoying. Okay. And now that and again. So okay, and now we are going to move GnosisChain to the bottom and to the right. So 1, 2, 2. So is that really much? Oh, I don't think that's fine. Okay, then Polygon goes, as far as I remember, in the other direction. So 1, 2, 1, 2. That's pretty on spot. Then Optimism is the bottom. 1, 2, 1, 2. Then Arbitrum is just to the right. 2. Then Avalanche is just to the top. 2. Then BNBChain is to the top right corner, if I remember correctly. 1, 2, 1, 2. And Celo is just to the left. 2. And Ethereum is to the bottom. 2. Okay, so now we have everything in here. But if we play, then that already looks kind of nice. But we don't have any they are all moving at the same rate. So what we're going to do now is we give that some delay. So the GnosisChain music same okay. anyone actually can hear the music anymore. Okay. So we are going to leave the GnosisChain with the main logo, mostly because these two should be interconnected, since GnosisChain is the home chain of the token. And then Polygon, where the deployment was the first time, we are going to shift it by half a second. Which is so here 1, so we're going to 50. So all of them in here. So then we will be here at 1 second. That's where Optimism starts, and Arbitrum should start half a second later. Really long. Let's maybe not make that 30 minutes, but only only 1 minute. So it's easier to scale that stuff here. Okay, so to 50. That's where this one should start. Make sure, yes, we have the correct one. Then at 2, that's where Avalanche starts. Then at 250 is this. At 3 seconds and then 350, so it's exactly that stuff here. It's exactly that too. And now with that delay in place, we can see that they all move at different points in time, and it's similar to the other parts that it's they're not moving at the same differently to each other, but they show up one by one by one by one by one, and we can just simply fix that by dragging everything a little bit out there, so they start animated right away. And now if we save that stuff here, and it's gonna take a little bit to cache, to pre-render the frames in here, but in the meantime we can put that a little bit to the side and then pull in the animation on the website. Of course, the colors are a little bit different because since there's a transparency going on and everything here in the background, there's this glowy balls that move here in the background. Of course, that's going to have also an effect on how glowy and the whole animation in here is. I think I do have something. to finish the pre-rendering here, I'm gonna look for some of the backgrounds. Okay. So it's still, that doesn't look so bad. Okay. Now we have the multichain logo, and now I'm going to make a new composition, and that's the one where I say, okay, now I want to have just a full HD stuff, and I don't need 100 frames. It's fine if it's 60, and yeah, let's go for 1 minute. Why not? And then we say fraction multi-chain. 1080. Okay. Bam. So basically, I could delete that already because I don't really need that anymore, but sure, why the fuck not. And I also have here some background glows that I can put in here, and which are just simple graphics in here with the egg, and that's one. So now we place it in here. Of course, it's a little bit huge, but like I said before, it's always easier to dial everything down. So we just place this one in here. Let's go down to 30, 25, 25. Pretty fine. Let's get that 100%, and let's save that and export it to really take a comparison. So we have comparison. So we just sent that to the Adobe Media Encoder. Awesome. I'm probably going to make it in under 2 hours. That would be nice. Let's wait a bit until the project gets transferred. There it is. No, we don't want to have a 60 frames per second animated GIF. That's going to be like a huge clusterfuck. So H264. Okay. Maximum render quality. Of course, need that one. We don't have any audio, so let's disable that. Of course, I clicked it once. Lady, come on. So. no audio, no capes. Okay, that's fine. Okay, and let's render it. Let's see how fast that goes. It's funny because the GPU does the animation part in the browser as well, because that's GPU accelerated, and now the media encoder is also using the GPU. You can see the animation here in the browser starting stuttering. That's funny. Maybe I should hit up the afterburner or something. Let's see what's going on with the but interestingly, it's just at 43%. Interesting. Why is it? Okay, I can't see the GPU here. That's interesting. Why aren't you utilizing the full GPU? That kind of sucks. Okay, so once I'll upload the video to Optimism, I'm definitely gonna edit that part out and speed it up, because I guess nobody's really eager to watch the progress bar go up there. But while that one here is working, I can take a look at this here and see. Well, it's pretty damn close to what I have already. And now I can use that for future explanation videos, for marketing materials, blah 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 blah. I think I could maybe also replicate the glow movement in here in the background. On the website, I'll just can explain a little bit how that works. There are basically, I'm gonna get rid of all the other stuff here. Let's kick that. So basically that is also fairly straightforward. I just have a div container with some other div containers in here, and their background is just a gradient, radial gradient with the official colors. They start at 25%. I didn't want to use the opacity on that because that didn't work out that fine, but that's the official color in the center, and then it goes to black at 70%. That's basically you have to use 70% because 100% would be the corners, and since the top and the left edges are closer, then the corners you need some you need to shrink it down a little bit. But basically that's it, and each one of them got some animation attached that it should move a different path on a different speed, and that does the background glow. That's the whole deal. In After Effects, I probably just would put in there a circle, add some Gaussian softening, and that's, in German it's Gaußscher Weichzeichner. I'm not sure what the exact English word for that is, but just to soften it out, and then set some path to move, and that also then set it to a loop, and then that's done anyway. Maybe I can do that at some later point. Okay. Okay, but if that calculation of 1 hour and 20 minutes kicks in, then I'm afraid that I'm not gonna make it below the 2-hour mark. Yeah, but I'm very confident that the animation actually works out like I wanted to. Not so sure why that's going to take that long in there. I think it's probably because of all the different animations. Also, the easing takes a little bit more time, and of course the recalculation of everything down to the different frame rates to then recalculate it. I think it would be faster if I would just export a 100 frames per second MP4, not a 60 one, but they're made for calculations, so let's let the GPU do their thing. Yeah. Okay, so if you have any questions, you can reach out, of course, via any channel you might prefer. Here are the official ones. You can also find them on the Linktree organization. I did also split it up a little bit better where to find the stuff, but send me a DM, or if you want to collaborate, then that's of course fine too. You can also use Calendly to schedule something if you want to talk directly. And I am going to post the export, the final export, then later on also on Lens, so you can view the final result if you want to. And yes, I guess that's it. It's 5:20 in the morning. I think it's a good time to stop. Okay. In any case, thanks for watching, and tune in for the next stream if you like. Have a good day.